At this time, I'd like to ask for a motion to accept our meeting, our agenda.
I'll motion.
That's Mrs. Wood. Can I have a second?
Second.
Mr. Sherman? Okay, at this time, can I get a motion to move into the public hearing portion of the board meeting?
I'll motion.
Mrs. Allison and then Mrs. Wood. All in favor? Okay, Mr. Calabufo and Mrs. Ladd, this is all yours.
As Mrs. Ladd makes her way up to the podium, I would like to say that we are very, very pleased that we are able to put a budget up with another no increase to the tax levy. That's 2 years in a row that we are not raising the tax levy in our school district. We understand that, with the equalization rate and reassessments, that some of the areas have had their assessments raised. We feel with great confidence that and happiness that this budget right here does not, for 2 years in a row, raise the tax levy. Okay, go ahead.
Oh, thanks. Is it on? Perfect. So tonight's the annual public hearing, so I stand up here and recite a lot of items to you that are required by the budget process and laws. It's gonna have to be you, Pearl. This isn't gonna be.
Turn it on the side.
Maybe not.
No pressure, but it's sunny. It's 75.
It's nice.
There we go.
There it is. It's thinking about it now. So here's our budget timeline. We are getting close to the May 17th vote. Public hearings must be held between 7 and 14 days prior to the vote. That's what we're doing tonight. The budget newsletters are out. To everybody in the district, required mail-in. We must present our budget to the voters. It must be held on the third Tuesday in May. They must be prepared in 3 categories: program, administrative, and capital. A public hearing must be held between 7 and 14 days before the vote. The Board of Education vacancy seats must be filled by the voters. The real property tax law requires us to put a report out with the exempt properties within our townships. Copies of the budgets are available to the public. Everything is available on the website. Everything is on the back table if anybody wants to take a copy with them. The only piece of the newsletter that's actually required is the budget notice, and that's the piece that's on the back. Because that piece of paper is very hard to read, we put a lot of other budget information in there to make it easier for people. The property tax report card is available and on the website, and the administrative salary disclosures are available and on the website. And the district report card is available and on the website. This is the actual budget notice, the piece that is required, and like I said, it's very hard to, it's in a format that's difficult to process, but across the bottom are the administrative components, the program components, and the capital components. Those are the big pieces of how we have to present this that's different from how we generally present our revenues and our expenditures. You know the revenue categories. The budget's going up just over $2.5 million. It's a 3% increase. The biggest change in our revenues is in the state aid category, and we have a 0 tax increase. On the expenditure side, the same budget increase. The bulk of the change is in salaries and benefits. 75% of our budget is basically staff. These are those same numbers in the separated categories that are required for the budget presentation. You have your program expenditures, administrative expenditures, and capital expenditures. This is how those expenditures break out. 74% of our entire budget is program. 17% is capital, which is essentially our mortgage payments for the debt service and the O&M for the buildings. And then 9% is our administrative budget. These are our enrollment trends. We do continue to decline enrollments. This is a little calculation that we have through Forecast 5, and it projects with live birth data that they get from the counties. So it continues to decline, but the decline is less. Yeah, it's flattening. Highlights for this year's budget is that the budget is only increasing 3% and that the tax levy increase will be 0. Remember that the tax rate, the levy is only one part of the taxes to come up with the individual rates for the counties. We are decreasing our use of appropriated fund balance down from 3 million to 1.5 million. This is the front page of the budget with the 3% increase you can see on the expenditure and the revenue sides. The revenue, just wanted to point out, this is the budget document, the 0% tax levy increase, if people don't necessarily know where to read the pieces. The designated fund balance, there's the decrease to the 1.5 million. The big question always especially for the community is how will this proposed budget affect the school taxes? The levy increase is 0. That's the part that we can take care of. But there are 3 parts to a tax rate. There's the levy, which is the piece that we put out, which is the entire money that we'll receive from taxes. So our pie, or the amount that we're gonna tax, remains the same. The state puts out equalization rates and the towns put out their assessed values. So those 3 in combination make up the numbers on the individual tax bills. And basically this is what I just said. So the tax rates are affected by changes from the municipalities, the states, and us. So the tax rate is calculated on each individual property bill. So just because the tax levy is 0 doesn't mean that the rates are not going to be different on different properties based on the other 2 categories. The tax rates are set in August. The board then assesses the tax warrants and our bills go out in September. So we do not control the assessment or the equalization rates. Those questions you need to discuss with the assessor's office. A lot of people call here and ask about those things, and we really have no control over those pieces of the taxes. This is, again, from Forecast 5. It shows our tax levy per 1,000 compared to the rest of the county. Yeah, pull it up here. As you can see, we are, I think, 3rd in the county. So we really are a good bargain.
I just want to underscore what Maureen said. I've had at least 4 parents call me up because they wanted to challenge their assessment rates. Schools have no authority over that at all. That is completely separate. The only thing that we can control is the tax levy, and we are not raising that next year.
Central Square is the 2nd line, so we are right in the middle of the tax rate per 1,000. Some of them are obviously much higher than ours, and a couple of them are lower, and a couple are right in par with where we are. So next Tuesday for the vote, there are 4 propositions on the docket. The first one is the general fund budget vote. The second one is the transportation vehicle vote. The third one is the capital project. And I just wanted to remind everybody, we had the community forum on that last Monday, but this is the project, the proposition. It's a $25 million project. 3.2 million of the project, which would be the taxable portion based on our building aid ratios, would potentially would be a tax increase. The district is putting that towards the project. So there'll be no tax increase associated with it. And the fourth proposition is from the library. They're increasing their library tax by $5,000. So it'll go from $55,000 to $60,000 a year. We, as a school district, if there's libraries within your district, we must run their votes on our tally because they don't have the ability to do that. Also next week on the vote, we have 4 candidates running for 4 seats. We have Mr. Randy Hoyt up for re-election, Tim McCarthy up for re-election, Ken Sherman, kind of re-election, and Mr. Mud Murphy. There are 4 seats, 3 3-year seats, and one year is only 1 year to finish the term of another seat. That's all I have for the budget portion. Tom's going to give you a little updates of what's the good news and what's going on in
Yeah, and before you
Square.
click it, just so again we get it one more time on record, the way that it works, you just saw the ballot, and whoever gets the least amount of votes is the person that gets the 1-year seat. So that's how that works. There's 4 people running, there's 4 open seats, there they are right there. Whoever gets the least amount of votes will be the person that is a 1-year seat and then can run again at the next election a year from now. Okay. Some good news.
Working on it.
And again, when we talk about the good news, I would like to say this. There aren't many districts out there that are going 2 years in a row without raising taxes for the community. So the mindset from a lot of districts is that if we can put it out and have people vote for it, why wouldn't we do that? And there's some truth to that because you never really know what's around the corner. The fact that we are doing a really good job utilizing our COVID relief money, making sure that we're closing the educational gaps that resulted from a lot of remote learning. You know, the beginning of the pandemic was terrible, and then even throughout the pandemic, we still have kids that when they get COVID, they're out for a minimum of 5 days and whatnot. So we know in every school district there's a gap that has to fill, but then there's the whole social and emotional part to it, the mental health. So everyone across our country, really across the world, are really struggling with this part, the disconnect of what young children had to go through. And not just elementary, but high school. There's a major disruption, unlike anyone in this room has ever had to see, unless you were, World War II and you had to go off, or Vietnam War, that would be comparable. So what we're looking at right now is to be able to utilize the money, and we have more mental health, we have more counselors, now we have counselors in every building, and social workers, because we see that. There was a very telling article just now in the Post-Standard today. It's on Syracuse.com, and it mentions Oswego County, and not in a good way. And it's really 1, 2, and 3 in the lowest categories across the entire state. And it talks about generational poverty, it talks about drug abuse, it talks about issues that young kids are having to go through at a higher rate than anywhere else. And so knowing that, and us having to counter that, it's pretty impressive that we sat down with Maureen and we built a budget that still 2 years in a row didn't raise the tax levy. So we have some amazing new programs. We have teachers that are getting paid to stay after school and help students, not only academically, but we have fun clubs and whatnot that we're compensating our staff because we know that it's so important. And finally, I just want to say, even throughout this pandemic, what the students were able to accomplish is remarkable. Whether it's in the fine arts, drumline, winter guard, whether it's in sports, our extracurricular activities, DECA, it's amazing what these students and what these staff members have been able to accomplish. I gotta tell you, if you ask any one of our administrators, including all of them sitting around the table here right now, and I know the board can attest to this, what the teachers had to go through, and support staff, and administrators, and custodians, and clerical, and bus drivers, everybody for the past 2 years, it has really been a Herculean effort. So when we're putting out this budget right here, and we're not increasing taxes for 2 years in a row, I don't want anyone to think that we're going without. We're adding a tremendous amount, but we're really maximizing the $13 million that we were able to basically use or not get in relief. So the presentation that she just put up, the board, the budget that Maureen has become an expert in the region in putting together, it's pretty remarkable that we were able to take our main priorities for these students, instructional, but also the social, emotional, and mental health, and bring it all together and still not raise school taxes for 2 years in a row is remarkable. You can click it through. Again, as I just said, the students, for some of them, you know, if you look at this years from now, yes, there was a pandemic, but we didn't skip a beat in what our students accomplished. And we're our hats off to all of our athletes. Cole Mulhauser, it's pretty remarkable. He's going to be going to Princeton. Not only does he excel in the classroom, but I can say the boy standing in the #1 spot right there, I am hearing, pound for pound, is the best high school wrestler in the United States. That's a yes. That's a huge remarkable achievement in everything that that boy has put in, and his coaches. Go ahead. Again, this fall, junior Sam Haley surprised the 500 save mark. The process set the all-time record for the Lady Red Hawk. Keeps all the goaltenders. Sam will build on this mark through her senior season. So again, as you can see, it's pretty remarkable what was achieved throughout the pandemic. 21-22 boys bowling team won Section 3 tournament and advanced to the states, which was remarkable. Again, I've been following them. Great bunch of kids that also excel in the classroom. We talked about this maybe about 2 years ago, right before the pandemic. We looked at the students that get involved in music and band and sports and comparably what their GPA is, and it was remarkable compared to students that weren't involved in sports and in extracurricular activities. Our music program, again, excelled. Serena Hayden earned a performance seat in the 21-22 NYSBA Conference All-State Mixed Chorus. This is New York State's highest musical ensemble. Again, there's a huge, rich tradition here at Central Square with our fine arts. Senior Olivia Asmus earned the 2022 Mid-York Color Guard Circuit Award, and senior Caitlin Farrell earned the 22 New York State Percussion Circuit Award. Huge achievements. Senior Jaden Allen placed first in the 2022 Oswego County Music Educators Association Senior Scholarship Performance Competition and was awarded $1,000 scholarship. Senior Serena Hayden placed second and was awarded a $600 scholarship. So again, these are just small snapshots. If you follow me on Twitter, I am constantly posting the achievements of the students. In this very room, a couple weeks ago, we had art in the atrium, and then we had cabaret, and it packed the school with spectators. So while we're still dealing with some cases of COVID, every district is, it's a great feeling of a return to normalcy as much as we possibly can at this point. And I had so many community members come up to me. They had said it to Connie Galvin, to Aaron Phillips, to Maureen Ladd, just how happy the community was, because when everything was shut down, there were people that really rely on the school district for sporting events, for concerts. It's that feeling that the success of a district and the success of a community go hand in hand, and we see that now more than ever. So we are thrilled. Keep moving forward. One of the other big things is I've been talking a lot with a graduate of Central Square. He graduated in 1984. His name's Rob O'Connor. He is in charge of the Syracuse Nationals, but he also is the CEO of Elite Gaming. And right now, this past year, the gaming/esports industry was $263 billion business. And it's funny, that's not the first time I heard about it. I heard about it from our technology director, Raina Gershman, several months ago, and showing me how there's college scholarships for this. There's so many careers within that industry. So that's something that we're going to be looking at expanding on in our district, because to turn a blind eye, it's one of the largest growing departments at Syracuse University is esports and gaming. And it combines so many things. Syracuse University's Newhouse, for broadcasting, they're tapping into that. So I met with him at the whole lower level is his for esports, for Elite Gaming. It's really exciting. And I talked to some students and they're thrilled because they're big time gamers and now they see that there can be careers within that. And I always said, if you can have your passion and you can be able to make money doing that and have a career pathway, we're all about it. So again, it's your school, it's your vote. May 17, 2022, we're not adding any additional to the tax levy, and we're still putting out a better program. Now, at this point, we always turn to the community, to see if you have any questions at all regarding... No? So we were that thorough, huh? Fantastic.
Please remember to vote next Tuesday.
Yes, definitely go out and vote. There's 2 voting stations. That's not our first year doing that. Do you want to say where they are?
Yeah, it's been quite a while. Election District number 1 is at the American Legion right down here on 49, and Election District number 2 is at Constantia VFW. If you are on the west side of 81, you're on Election District 1, and all of Brewerton. And if you're on the east side, you're at the Constantia.
Thank you so much.
Yep, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Maureen. At this time, can I get a motion to adjourn the public hearing?
I'll motion.
With Chance and Lori? All in favor? Okay. And then I need a motion to open the regular board meeting.
Second.
Lori and Chance? All in favor? So, community open forum. Mrs. Horn, do we have anything on that? Nope. No special presentations. I'll go on to item E, personnel. Can I have a motion to accept personnel?
I'll motion.
Chance and Allison? All in favor? Do you want to do intros? Mr. Feldman? Say the intro, introduce your...
Yes.
This time I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Calabufo for a moment.
Yep, so we had a pretty good size interview committee for the Hastings-Mallory Elementary principalship. And we were thrilled. We listened to their feedback, and it's feedback that we were also in alignment with. And so we were looking for somebody, ideally, that was familiar with Central Square, that had strong administrative experience, and that would be able to basically hit the ground running and be as smooth as transition possible, and that could offer consistency for a building that has had 3 different administrators in there since and that includes the tragic passing of Larry Wink. And so in doing that, we found somebody that actually had 19 years teaching experience in this district, 10 years teaching experience at A.A. Cole as a classroom teacher, 9 years as a curriculum consultant, was an elementary principal at Pulaski, an elementary assistant principal at Pulaski, and they raved about her. And if there didn't have to be budget cuts 3 years ago when we all were told by Cuomo we were falling off the cliff, that she would probably be a full-blown principal in that district. Thanks to us, things worked out for us this way. This year, she has been Director of Student Supports and Interventions at our middle school. I've had the opportunity to observe her, and I've heard wonderful things from the teachers there. She's really hands-on. If a teacher wants to see something, how it actually works, then the next day, Mrs. Crincy goes into the classroom and models it. And that's really what we're looking for. We want teachers to feel comfortable, and I love the fact that we can hire somebody that was a teacher of 19 years in this district. So we know what we're getting, we know the work ethic, we know her as an administrator. So I would like to introduce everybody, effective July 1, to our new Hastings-Mallory Elementary Principal, Kira Carinci. So Kira will be transitioning. Aaron Phillips has been wearing 2 hats, and I just do it once in a while. It seems like once or twice a week I cover an elementary building, and I can tell you right now, I was an elementary principal for 4 years, so I remember how hard the teachers work and the administrators work. Aaron has been doing that right along since spring break, covering not only her regular responsibilities as Executive Director of Elementary Education and all the outside evaluations and everything that has to get done with the elementary schools, but she's also been doing that. So she has been putting a significant amount of time in. She will be working, helping transition with Kira, which since Kira's already in the district, she'll be able to come for a couple days a week, connect with the staff, and then there are already existing things on the calendar for parents, so then it'd be a great opportunity. They're already working it out to be able to go there. But again, she's a very familiar face. She working over at A.A. Cole. It's very similar demographic to Hastings, so she's definitely going to be an asset to us. So again, congratulate you. We're really excited to keep you as an administrator and to see you over at Hastings.
Congratulations.
All right.
At this time, we'll move on to item F, the consent agenda. Can I get a motion to accept the consent agenda in its entirety?
I'll motion.
Chance and Allison. All in favor? Okay, on to item H, approval of the resolution to appoint the district clerk to cast and canvass affidavit ballots. Can I get a motion to accept the district clerk for that position? Allison?
Second.
Wait one second. Second. Kevin? All in favor? Okay, I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Caladufo for a moment.
One other announcement that I definitely want to make, and give it a second to do so. So we are very, very fortunate to, when we found out a couple months ago that the state was extending an opportunity for New York State workers, hoping that they could keep New York State workers working and not leaving, because right now there was an article saying a lot of people from this state are retiring, they're going to Florida, they're going to other places, and there is a massive drain right now with staff. So the state, in their infinite wisdom, this year, and now they've extended it for next year, but everything that they're saying is it's likely not going to be extended after that, that somebody can retire and still work and not have to be below the $35,000 cap that retired educators have to be on. So I do want to publicly say what the board just did a little while ago is they accepted the retirement of Connie Galvan. Connie has been in this district for 20 plus years, has given her heart and soul. I can tell you this, I've worked with many, many people in 5 different school districts in 26 years. And I've worked with very caring people, as all these people around the table would give their shirts off their back to kids that need them. I have never worked with somebody that dedicates as much time as Connie Galvan does, not only to do her job, wearing multiple hats, because she's the personnel director, but she also oversees all secondary education, and she is the outright number 2 in the district as the assistant superintendent, where it's not uncommon for Connie to work consistently 12 hours a day. So when we had an opportunity, when Connie was saying that, you know, it's her time, she's beyond the age that she can retire, she said, not in a bad way, I'm saying she met the mark where she is legally can retire in New York State. Let me say that for the 75 countries watching. We had a conversation, and I said to Connie, I said, what if there was a way that you can just stay on for a year as the personnel director? And we talked about that. And so Connie came to me, and we both mutually had the conversation. Connie is taking a significant pay cut to just be the personnel director. But she loves this district so very much. So that's what we are going to be doing. So in a way, I'm not as sad as I would be losing somebody with the heart and the soul and what Connie has done for this district. Because we will have her for 1 more year as just the personnel director, so she'll only be working 9 hours a day instead of 12 or 14. But it is great to have her. I can't underscore, I can't say it enough, what she has done. Anybody that's walked past her office where normal people are taking at least 35 minutes, 40 minutes for a lunch, Connie regularly is mentoring students in the high school. I can't tell you how many parents have called me and just said, oh my God, keep her. Even if it's just 1 more year, like what she's done for these students, it's remarkable. Like I've never seen somebody put so much of their heart and soul into it as if every one of those kids are her own kids. So the fact that she can retire and still come back for 1 year, and it's a win and a cost savings for the district, but we still have her for 1 more year, I can't tell you, Connie, how much that is a relief of us, because we're not past COVID yet. We have massive obstacles that we have to get through with the achievement gap and the social and emotional and the mental health, but we are thrilled that you are going to be here for at least another year. So with that, the board has accepted. There's no way we could have just let this go quiet of the board accepting Connie Galvan of 20 plus years, her retirement, without saying that and how happy we are to have you 1 more year. All right, the floor is yours.
I'm going to take a step back since I don't know the alphabet, so we're going to go back to G, board member reports. I will say one thing, I did take my son to the junior prom, and it was wonderful. I even saw Mrs. Enright with makeup on and all dressed up, and got a picture with her with my son because she was amazing looking. But it was a good event, and I was glad to see as many. I wish there was more people there, but I'm glad to see that a lot of the juniors had gone to it. Any other board members?
Yeah, so, I'm really loud, holy cow, hold on. All right, so I have an update. A good friend of our family's, but he's also a student here, Rocky Files, went on in Maryland and took the national championship for his weight class. So he's been competing, long after the whole, I guess it's after wrestling season. But I thought that was pretty awesome, like on a weekend when most kids are sleeping in or whatever. He was down in Maryland competing, and he's a national champion for his weight class, so I had to give him a shout out for
I'm
that.
glad you said that. I had no idea. That's fantastic. That's it. Thank you.
Anyone else?
Yes, I have a question for Tom, and I want to address the elephant in the room. We have a board member, Mr. McCarthy, who has attended maybe one board meeting this past year, and he has turned in his petition to run again. And I have had a lot of people in the community approach me and ask me how the board can put up with that and why we still have him on our board. So I've tried to explain what our situation is, but I wish you would do that.
Yeah, so we have 4 open spots and we have 4 candidates. So what I would say, if anybody in the community is frustrated or concerned, I would say do your civic duty and run for the board. Because you have 4 open spots and you have 4 candidates. So as a superintendent, I try to stay as far out of that, which all superintendents do, because that's board business, and then there's superintendent business. So again, there are 4 open spots, there are 4 candidates. If anybody in the community wants, has any issues or whatnot, that's the whole wonderful process of having, elections. So we don't have a meet the candidate night, again, because I could assume by that is that we have 4 candidates, so every single candidate running is going to win. But again, Lori, to answer your question, what you can say to them is if they are interested, on our website it talks about being a board member, and we've got a lot of great people in the community. I'm thrilled at this group that's coming out. We had mentioned, again, there's 4 candidates, so I don't feel like I'm giving anybody any advantage. But again, Mud and Ken from being on the board in the village have that experience. Randy is being on the board for how many, 20 plus years? And Tim is running. So I understand that some community members, may be frustrated and whatnot, and that's 100% their right and their opinion to be able to do that. But I would just simply say, Lori, that I would say to them, feel free to run for the board. That's really all I can say. Thank you.
Well, I think we're kind of feeling the frustration too, Tom. So, if I'm approached again, I will do that.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Anyone else? Mr. Calvillo, do you have anything else?
I do real
Quick, on April 19th, senior music students from all of the Oswego County schools had the opportunity to audition for the annual OCMEA, the music scholarships. 2 of the Paul V. Moore seniors auditioned. Jaden Allen performed a snare drum audition and placed first. Serena Hayden performed a vocal audition and placed second. Great job to both students. On May 17th, there was a ceremony in the high school gym to celebrate 24 athletes who will be moving up. So that will be on May 17th. And this is the signing day. So this is a tradition that started a few years back, and it's great, and we've extended it. So it's not just Division I, but it's Division I, Division II, Division III, and that's just a testament to our student athletes. The girls' golf team collected and donated goods for the Ukrainian church. They also held an ice cream social for the residents of Rogers Senior Long Manor Apartments in Brewerton. The following teams are Spring Scholar Athlete Team recognized by the New York State Public High School Association. Girls golf, girls lacrosse, boys track and field, girls track and field, softball, and boys tennis. Congratulations. Again, that's having a team average above 90%. So not only are these students excelling in the athletic arena, but they're also excelling in the classroom, which is the priority. That ends my superintendent report.
Thank you, sir. Now we'll move on to item H2. This is a roll call vote, and it's about the resolution for the destruction of the ballots from the May 18th, 2021 annual budget vote and elections. Can I have a motion to accept?
I'll make that.
Chance? A second? Allison? All in favor?
Roll call.
Oh, roll call. I say yes. Chance? Lori? Steve?
Yes.
Allison?
Yes.
And Mr. Sherman?
Yes.
Thank you, sir. Okay, and next, I would like to take item H3 through H9 in its entirety. A motion to accept that?
I'll motion.
Chance? Second, Mrs. Wood. All in favor? Okay. And proposed executive session. Yes, no?
Well, so we provided all of you with the 20
Mhm.
people that are up for tenure. There were no issues with any of them. We can go into executive session if you'd like, if anyone has any questions. If you don't have any questions right now, you could
questions
ask,
to go
yeah,
with
you could ask, because we're not coming back and voting now, we're voting in the next one. So you could, we can give you copies if there's anything specific, but there was no negatives, and we're thrilled. Connie gave her blessing for all of them, and so do I.
I'm all good with no executive session. If anybody else has no issues. Well, with that, can I have a motion to adjourn?
I'll make that.
Chance? And a second? Allison? All in favor? 6:38. Have a wonderful evening, everybody.
Thank you.